Hi everybody, this is Anjali and today we are going to read about a topic which is fractions. When we talk about fractions, the first thing that comes to our mind is that fraction is represented in P by Q form. Numbers which are written like this in P by Q format, we always assume them to be written in fraction form. But fraction is not just about writing numbers in this form, it is much more than that. All right. So, fractions is something which is not limited to the book that we have, the mathematics books, is not limited to the notebooks that we have, or is not limited to the board that you can see. It is much more than that. It is something that we use in our everyday life. Yes, you heard it right. Fraction is something which we use in our everyday life. All right. So we are going to learn about fractions today. All right. So if we go by the definition, you will note one thing that fractions are number that represent part of a whole. Now, this part of a whole is a very small phrase. However, the meaning of it is very wide. All right. So I'll try to break it down for you all. Okay. So part of a whole means that you have a pizza down there in the next slide. Correct. In this pizza, if I ask you that how many equal slices is this pizza divided into? Correct. It's divided into four equal parts. You're absolutely right. Very good. Now, if I ask you how much pizza is available out of the four divisions? Correct. Only one slice is remaining out of the four. Hence, the representation of this whole, which is four, is going to be one, which is only a part of the whole. All right. Now, if I ask you the same question but in different way, that out of these four equal divisions, how much pizza is already consumed? So it is 3 by 4. Correct. Okay. Now, from this, we can also refer one thing that what is down is always referred to as denominator. Correct. And what is above is always referred to as the numerator. All right. Now, the numerator and the denominator both plays a very important role in the fractions. The sort of numerator, the sort of denominator makes a lot of difference. All right. So we're going to learn about it more. Okay. So denominator is nothing but the total entities which are present, and numerator represent the entity which is selected. So in this case, if we are talking about how much pizza is available, so we are only selecting one because only one slice is available. So I hope this is clear. Now, like integers, our fractions are also represented on number line. Okay, but the representation of fraction on number line is very different, yet very simple. Okay, but you need to note down one thing that all the fractions on the number line are represented between two numbers 0 to 1. Can you see here? 0 to 1. All right. So depending upon how much fraction you need to represent on number line, your division of number line varies. Okay. This might be a little complex, but let me break it down further. Suppose if you have this number line over here and I tell you that you need to represent 1 by 5 on number line. Okay. Good. So what we are going to do is we are going to make a line. We are going to divide it into five equal parts. So we have one division, two division, three division, four division, and we have five division. Okay, how do we write numbers on it? So this is the begin. I told you in the beginning also that zero is the first number, one is going to be the last representation. So everything which is there in the on the number line is going to be between 0 to 1. Okay, so this first division becomes 1 by 5. That means it is only the first part of the whole 5. Okay, this becomes how much part of whole 5? Correct, 2 by 3, 2 by 5. This becomes 3 by 5. And how do we refer this? Correct, 4 by 5. And this becomes 5 by 5, or this can also be written as 1. I'll tell you how it can be written as 1 by 1 later. Okay, but as of now, you just remember this much. Okay, so if I tell you to represent 1 by 5 on number line, what you are going to do is you are just going to color the first division on the number line and you will be sorted. Okay, supposedly the number lines remain same, but I increase the number of divisions you need to color. If I tell you you need to color 3 by 5 divisions of what is present on number line. So we have one division colored, we have second division colored, we have third division colored. That's how we get 3 by 5. Okay. Now the question becomes again, if I swap the question, if I ask you how many divisions are not marked with blue, you're going to write one part of it, two part of it. So out of 5, you can see two parts not colored blue. So it will become 2 by 5 not colored and 3 by 5 as colored. Isn't it very easy? Right. It's very easy only if we understand how to do it. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Let's talk about proper and improper fractions. And I also have a challenge for you over here. And irrespective of how many students I deal with, majority of them give the wrong answer. But it's fine. It's a part of learning. But these two questions are very triggering questions. If you are able to do this, then clap for my side. So your questions are 1 divided by 0 and 0 divided by 1. So I'm not going to give you the answers for these. You're going to go find it yourself, find it out, check your textbook, explore internet, look for it. Okay. All right. So we have proper and improper fractions. Okay. Proper and improper fractions are very important part of fractions. Okay. When we talk about proper fractions are always going to be less than 1. Okay. In proper fractions, the denominator is going to be always bigger, and the numerator is always going to be smaller. So if we write 1 by 2, your denominator 2 is bigger than your numerator 1. That is what is proper fractions. All right. When we talk about improper fractions, if we look at improper fractions, the denominator is always going to be smaller and the numerator is always going to be bigger. Okay. So if I put it in division format, so if we talk about proper fraction, it's 2 by 3 as proper fraction. It is going to be like 3 and 2. The answer that we're going to get is in decimal, because you put a decimal, you take a 0, and then 6 are 18, and you have 2, you already have a decimal, you put a 2, it is going to be 0.666 something. So you see the value of the quotient is going to be less than 1. That is why we say that in proper fractions you have numerator is always less than the denominator, and these proper fractions have value which is less than 1. So why do we say this as less than 1? Because of this quotient being 0.666. So before point we have 0. That is the reason. All right. Let's come to improper fractions. In improper fraction, I told you that your denominator is always going to be smaller than the numerator. So if you divide these numbers, if you divide 11 with 15, you are never going to get the answer which is less than 1. It is always going to be 1 or greater than 1. Okay. So for example, if we have 11 divided by 15, we're going to have the 11 ones are 11. Then we are going to get 4. Then we put a point, we take a 0, it becomes 3, we get 33. So it becomes 1.3 something. So it is greater than 1. It's not less than 1, but it's greater than 1. And that is what is improper fraction. All right. Now, very important point which needs to be remembered over here is that we have something called mixed fractions. Okay. So mixed fractions, proper fractions cannot be converted to mixed fractions. Okay. Mixed fractions are formed when improper fractions are converted. Okay. So mixed fractions are a result of improper fractions, or improper fractions are a result of mixed fractions. Am I clear? I'm repeating it again, that mixed fractions are a result of improper fraction, or improper fraction is a result of mixed fraction. But let's understand what are mixed fractions first. Okay. So when we talk about mixed fraction is nothing but representation of a number like 2, 1 by 2. All right, this is mixed fraction. So if you look at this 2, 1 by 2, you have two things over here. You have two whole numbers and 1 by 2 fraction numbers. Understood? Okay, now If we need to convert this mixed fraction into improper fraction, how do we do it? So 2 into the denominator, which is 2, will make it how much? 4. Exactly. But we have 1 also here. So we add that 1 with 4. It becomes 5 by 2. Note one thing, that your numerator always remain the same. Sorry, the denominator always remains the same. Okay. Uh, let's go ahead. Let's do one more question. Let's do 3 4 by 7. Okay. What is the first thing? We multiply the whole number with the denominator. So 7 threes are 21. How much do we add? We add 4, which is the numerator. It will become how much? 25. Correct. So your numerator become 25 and the denominator, as I said, numerator becomes 25 and your denominator, as I said, it always remains the same. It becomes 7. So it becomes 27, 25 by 7. Now let's put it otherwise. This is an improper fraction. Please note that also. Let's put it in, convert this again into this. How do we do that? 7 divided by 25. Okay. Now 7 divided by 25. How much is 25 in 7 table? Correct. It's not there in 7's table. So how much do we need to take? 7 threes are 21. How much will be left? What's going to be the remainder? Correct. 4. How do we present it? Your denominator remains the same. This one becomes your denominator. Okay. Whole comes at the side and the remainder comes on the top. That's how you get 3 4 by 7. They are very easy. The number of questions, the more questions you solve, the more is going to be the concept clear to you. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and let's try to understand that how do we compare fractions. So supposedly you have 2 by 3 and you have 4 by 7. How do you compare the fractions? So there are two ways of comparing the fractions. One way is the simple cross multiplication method of doing it. So you cross multiply 7 into 2, you cross multiply 4 into 3, 4 into 3 into 4. 7 threes, 7 twos are 14, 4 threes are 12. Which one is greater? 14 is greater. You put the greater sign towards 2 by 3. That's how you get to know that which fraction is greater. Alright. Now if I give you a question, 5 by 7 or 8 by 4, which one is greater? Again do the cross multiplication. 5 fours are 20, 7 eights are 56. So obviously 8 by 4 is going to be bigger. Alright. Okay. Now always note one thing. This numerator divided by this denominator always come here. This denominator divided by this numerator multiplied by this numerator always come over here. Okay, that's very important. All right. I think that's enough for today. I'll surely see you in the next class. And kindly remember these challenging questions that I've given you. And if you are able to find the answers, then please praise yourselves. And if you are not able to do them, it's a very important question which can be there in the exam. So yeah, be prepared. Thank you. Have a nice day.